the top stories, Minister Powell confident upgrades at airport will help keep citizens and residents safe. Over 200 dengue cases in Grenada, and U.S. Supreme Court nominee sworn in. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, October 27, 2020. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Nationally, Minister of Government, the Honorable John L. Powell, said he is confident that the plans and upgraded infrastructure being put in place at the RLB International Airport will all help to keep citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis safe when the Federation's borders reopen later this week. Minister Powell, along with all of his fellow cabinet colleagues, was present for a walkthrough at the airport on Monday, October 26th. The walkthrough was organized to give the ministers a first-hand look of the retrofitting work being done and an understanding of the added security protocols that will be implemented. The work is being done through the RLB International Airport COVID-19 retrofit project, which is being undertaken by the Bali Project Management. Speaking after the tour, Minister Powell said he is very impressed with the quality of work done at the airport in such a short time.
Obviously, these are necessary measures as we open our borders in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so to see that we are not just talking the talk, but walking the walk in terms of putting protocols and processes in place to not only keep our visitors safe, but to keep us as locals and residents safe. So, obviously the plans have been very extensive. I don't think anything has been left out. I was actually surprised at just some of the steps that have been put in place to ensure that we have a safe and smooth process.
The Federation's borders will reopen on Saturday, October 31st, and according to Minister Powell, this is a significant development for St. Kitts and Nevis.
The opening of the borders means a lot for us, not just in an attempt to try and jumpstart our economy, but in order to get a lot of residents outside back home. And so this is very important for us, and I'm happy that we're able to finally reach this step and to do it in a very safe and orderly manner that will ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis keeps going for years to come.
The work is being rolled out in two phases. Phase 1 involves the construction of a welcome center and a medical center with an isolation unit, the reconfiguration of the immigration hall, the creation of a medical screening room, screening stations, a testing booth and thermal scanning facilities, and the installation of plexiglass as sneeze guards throughout the airport. Phase 2 of the RLB International Airport COVID-19 retrofit project is focused on retrofitting the departure area. And in other news, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, or ECCB, in collaboration with its Financial Information Month, or FIM partners, is gearing up to host the 2020 FIM Online Business Symposium on Thursday, October 29th at 4:30 p.m. The symposium is being held to provide information to the public on how to remain financially resilient in the COVID-19 environment. Topics to be addressed include living through rainy days, how to manage your money in challenging times, as times of crisis can bring uncertainty, especially during the current COVID-19 pandemic. Another topic to be discussed is It's Happening Online, using the internet as a tool in the new normal. Zanella Claxton from the Ministry of Education on Nevis is the selected moderator. And as we wrap up, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris will be joined by Minister of Tourism, Transport and Ports, the Honorable Lindsay Grant, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws, and Chief Immigration Officer Ms. Mercelyn Hughes on the 26th edition of Leadership Matters tonight. The focus of discussion will be the reopening of the Federation's border crossings this coming Saturday, October 31st. The call-in numbers for Leadership Matters are 1-869-466-2666, 662-8674, 767-4765, and 1239-645-4500. Questions can also be sent via WhatsApp to 869-661-5683. We now move on to news on the regional scene. There has been an increase in the number of confirmed laboratory cases of dengue in Grenada. Last week on October 23rd, the ministry said 46 new dengue cases were recorded, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 253 so far for the year. The Ministry of Health has noted a steady increase in cases. It said a number of persons have been affected with dengue, mainly those within the school age bracket. Public awareness activities have been ramped up for persons to recognize mosquito breeding sources. Communities are being urged to do their part to reduce the spread of dengue. This call was echoed by Grenadians on social media, who also urged others to clean up their surroundings. Grenada is not the only Caribbean island contending with dengue. St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Guadeloupe are also experiencing challenges with dengue cases. In other regional news, operators of nursing homes across the island are being warned by the Ministry of Health and Wellness to implement adequate COVID-19 measures or they will be closed down. Here's more in this report.
26 new COVID-19 cases were recorded at the Golden Age home in Vineyard Town, adding to the initial cluster of 43. There are now 69 positive cases at the facility, 19 of which are staff members, 14 are residents, and 10 are to be determined. An assessment is now being carried out.
We are very happy that no one has fallen victim in its extreme so far. But we do have 69 positive cases, and so we have recommended a few changes and provided some additional training to try and avoid a reoccurrence of this particular issue.
With the Waterford community in Portmore St. Catherine under a special curfew, the Ministry of Health and Wellness used the opportunity to carry out testing at nursing homes within the area.
Waterford, Bridgefort, Independence City and Gregory Park. A total of 39 staff and 187 residents were tested, with results received thus far being negative. All except one was passed as satisfactory by the Public Health Inspectorate.
Having the authority to shut these facilities down, Dr. Tufton issued a stern warning.
Please follow the protocol. Put the systems in place, because you're putting your livelihood as private operators and the lives of residents and your staff at risk by ignoring those very important protocols. And we will shut you down if we think that you are ignoring putting those protocols, those measures in place.
Robianne Williams for CVN Live.
We move now to news on the international scene. U.S. President Donald Trump's pick for the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett has been sworn in after the Senate confirmed her nomination. Her controversial appointment just days before the U.S. presidential election gives the top court a large conservative majority. Democrats say the choice should have been left to the new president to pick. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
30 days after her nomination, Amy Coney Barrett became the 9th Justice on the U.S. Supreme Court. They held an event at the White House.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The initial ceremony was a super spreader event for COVID-19, with many attendees, including the president, contracting the virus. That didn't deter President Donald Trump, who wanted a political victory so close to the election.
This is a momentous day for America, for the United States Constitution, and for the fair and impartial rule of law.
The speed of the process has upset Democrats. They say the choice of a new justice should have been left to the next president.
You may win this vote, but in the process, you will speed the precipitous decline of faith in our institution, our politics, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. You will give an already divided and angry nation a fresh outrage.
The Democrats tried to bring public pressure to stop the vote. They argued there were more important things. They argued that the Republicans wouldn't even consider a Democratic nomination for the Supreme Court in an election year 4 years ago. But the reality is, the Democrats never had any real power to stop this nomination going through.
And elections have consequences.
And what this administration and this Republican Senate has done is exercise the power that was given to us by the American people.
Amy Coney Barrett will replace Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died last month. Her appointment solidifies a 6-3 Conservative majority on the court. But she insists she will not take her own views onto the court.
The oath that I have solemnly taken tonight means at its core that I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden says if he wins the election, he'll look again at how the judicial branch of the American government operates.
They're just a group of serious constitutional scholars who have a number of ideas how we should proceed from this point on.
Having now been sworn in, Justice Coney Barrett starts work immediately. Exactly what the Republicans wanted. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Turkey's president has called for a boycott of French goods following French President Emmanuel Macron's call to fight Islamic separatism in France. Macron's comments come after a teacher was beheaded earlier this month for showing cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad. Al Jazeera's Mohammed Val reports.
Palestinian-Israeli protest against France outside the French ambassador's residence in Tel Aviv. It's a part of a wave of anger after French President Emmanuel Macron refused to renounce controversial cartoons depicting Islam's Prophet Muhammad. Earlier this month, French teacher Samuel Paty was beheaded by a Chechen attacker after he showed his students the caricatures during a class on freedom of expression. Muslims consider it a blasphemy to show any depiction of the Prophet. French officials insist it's an act of freedom of speech. In Syria's war-stricken city of Idlib, protesters made their voice heard. In Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh, they described Macron as an enemy of peace.
You have no idea about the strength of Muslims. If we rise, you will see that. So be careful.
Bangladeshi protesters held up signs with words from Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has said President Macron needs a mental health test. France recalled its ambassador to Turkey in protest, accusing Erdogan of even failing to condemn the murder of Samuel Paty. On Monday, the Turkish leader's spokesman responded by strongly condemning what he called the monstrous murder of Paty. But President Erdogan has thrown his weight behind the boycott campaign.
I'm now telling my nation, just as they're saying in France not to buy anything from Turkish brands, I call on my nation here and now, do not pay attention to French-labelled goods. Do not buy them.
Commercial businesses in Arab countries including Kuwait, Morocco, Algeria, Palestine and Jordan have taken measures to boycott French products. Almira, which is Qatar's leading retailer with more than 40 supermarkets across the country, has been the first to decide a total withdrawal of French products. They say it is a voluntary decision, but it reflects the collective desire of its customers. About 50 French brands have been removed from the shelves. They include food items, perfumes, dairy, hygiene and beauty products.
I commend this decision by Almira, and I hope that other companies follow its example. This is the strongest weapon we have right now.
At this shopping mall in Jordan, a sign reads, "In solidarity with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, all French products are boycotted." Supporters of the boycott hope it will produce results.
It's a statement of our position, and I'm sure it'll reach the French officials and will certainly make a difference.
France has criticized the boycott and asked for it to be stopped. But President Macron insists his country will never give in to pressure of any kind and will continue to fight what he calls Islamic separatism. Mohammed Val, Al Jazeera, Doha.
Yasser Louati is the head of the Justice and Liberties for All Committee. He says freedom of speech comes with responsibility.
First, it is, a question needs to be asked is how could France go from being celebrated around the world, the Muslim and Arab world, after the Jacques Chirac refusal to engage with the Americans to destroy Iraq, 2003. They're being boycotted all over the region. It's a question we really need to ask. As for the declaration of President Erdogan, well, how can Emmanuel Macron said that freedom of speech includes insulting Muslims, which actually it does. But freedom of speech also comes with responsibility. If I have the freedom to express myself, it also means I have a responsibility towards the sensitivity, of others. Now, Erdogan says Emmanuel Macron needs to have his mental health checked. Well, it could be either freedom of speech, provocation, but Emmanuel Macron cannot say it's okay to portray the Prophet of Islam in such a way and Muslims have to accept it, but when his little ego is a little bit scorched, he comes and complains officially. The second point is that when Emmanuel Macron speaks of freedom of speech, how come he never mentions the brave journalists who report from war areas? How come he does not speak about the journalists who have been prosecuted under his own administration?
And now for the weather. Present weather is partly cloudy. A moderate breeze of 14 miles per hour is moving from the east. Current temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. Seas are reaching 4 to 6 feet. Small craft caution remains in effect. A tropical wave is approaching the area. It will heighten the chances for cloudiness and showers across the islands over the next 24 hours. Expect cloudy skies with showers and a 30% or low chance of thunderstorms today, and cloudy skies with a 60% or moderate chance of showers tonight. Sunset today will be at 5:41 p.m. and the sun is expected to rise tomorrow at 6:07 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.